We will start with our AES encryption. So we initialize everything. We set up our oscilloscope to be putting our high and low voltage out on pin 3, and then we have our test encrypt and test decrypt that is running the algorithm for over 1 megabit of data. And then we have our code for printing out to the UART. So we've already plugged in and set up our oscilloscope, and so once we open the Picoscope software, we'll go ahead and run it. And we know that we set it to be around the higher voltage whenever it is continuing to encrypt and decrypt, and then whenever it is done doing that to the 1 megabit of data, it will return to the lower voltage. Alright, so we can see that it went ahead and finished, and so we set a breakpoint right before the UART, so we'll go ahead and continue the program from there, and we can see that it took about 30 seconds to run the AES encryption algorithm on 1 megabit of data. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the Chacha algorithm. So we have the same thing. We set up to have our high and low voltage output on pin 3, and we measure that using the oscilloscope, and we encrypt and decrypt around 1 megabit of data. So you can see that one was quite a bit faster, so that took only around 5 seconds. So that is our code that is doing the test encryption and test decryption, and that's where we set our voltage to be higher, and then we set our output to be lower down here, right before we print out the time to the UART. And we're using the previous UART code that we developed in the UART assignment. And so this is how we set up our Picoscope, and we have our grounding wire, and then our one connected to pin 3, which is the purple wire. And then this is our multimeter that we use to measure the voltage when running them. So that's just a close-up of it. And so this is for our AES energy calculation. So we calculate our average voltage using the readings on the meter to be around 28 millivolts. Our resistor value was around 8.2 ohms, time taken 30 seconds. So we calculated it to be almost 3,000 millijoules of energy. And we do the same thing for the Chacha algorithm. So our average voltage was around 25 millivolts. Resistor value was the same. It took only around 5 seconds, and so we calculated our energy to be around 418 millijoules.